We now plan to embark on a journey through the book of Exodus. It's commonly accepted that Exodus was written by Moses. Themes from the book of Exodus include the following: God's deliverance, God's guidance, and the heart of God's law. Exodus means the way out. The Israelites will be taking the way out from the bondage of Egypt, foreshadowing our need to take the way out from the bondage of sin by receiving Christ. In Exodus chapter 1, God's people have been in Egypt for many years, some 400 years. However, we see that their situation has changed completely. The favor they formerly received from pharaohs long ago is now gone. Instead, God's people are now enslaved. And worse yet, the current Pharaoh has now ordered the Hebrew midwives to kill all male babies at birth to prevent the Hebrew people from reproducing. How are the midwives going to respond? Here's what we see in Exodus chapter 1, verses 17 through 19. But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the male children alive. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, "Why have you done this thing, and saved the male children alive?" And the midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are lively and give birth before the midwives come to them." So the Hebrew midwives have been commanded by Pharaoh to do wrong. But because of their fear of God, their awe of God, their respect for God, their awareness of God's presence, of God's holiness, they choose to disobey Pharaoh. When commands from earthly authorities violate the commands of our heavenly authority, God, we need not obey our earthly authorities. So Pharaoh confronts the midwives, who wisely offer up the explanation that the Hebrew women give birth before they arrive. Thus the babies are already safe in their families' arms. There may be truth to their explanation, but also consider the possibility that this may be similar to Rahab's situation in Joshua chapter 2, when she lied to protect the lives of the Israelite spies. In the verses that follow, here in Exodus chapter 1, God commends the Hebrew midwives for saving the lives of the male babies and blesses them with babies of their own. God rewards their faith, not necessarily their words, and continues to multiply His people. If you or I are in a situation where we've been commanded to do something we know is wrong by a boss or by another authority figure in our lives, we need not do it. If no godly creative alternative is available to us, we can respectfully disobey, because we're obeying our higher authority, the Lord Himself. So let's stand strong and not be intimidated by those who tell us we need to do something that we cannot in good conscience do. Let's instead cultivate a healthy fear of the Lord, an awareness of the Lord's holy presence that protects us from blind obedience and from people-pleasing. And as we stand in this way, God, who rewarded the midwives for their faith, will ultimately reward us for our faith. Thanks for listening.